And also I want to address the double standards that the Christian community has toward the Jews versus the Muslims. Because I can tell you, for example, that I was in my friend's house that happened to be a Muslim, and then his sister just started ranting about how she, in her school, because she lives in a Christian Muslim mixed city in Israel, not Nazareth, a different city. She was at the top of her class, and her Christian teachers would not believe that she's a Muslim, and they would tell her, no way a Muslim girl can be at the top of her class, you must be a Christian. She's like, no, I come from a Muslim family. Anyway, this is how Christians view Muslims in general, like they on a personal, like daily basis that I've seen. On the other hand, from Jews, oh, they expect so much of us, like those unrealistic superhero kinds of abilities. That's what they expect from us. I want to say that, like, I know both Muslims and like Christians living in Israel, like the Arabs expect things. I mean, it's not just the Arabs, but in general, like they think, I don't know what they think. They think they're like that we can shoot beams that go on with curvature so that we would hit the terrorists and never hit anything else. Like the expectations that they have is like unbelievably like unrealistic. All right.
A consistent but almost never noted theme of American foreign policy is that it is always the Christians who suffer. When there's a war abroad that the United States is funding, it is Christians who tend to die disproportionately. And this goes back a long way, 60 years really, to Vietnam.
Oh my God.
Where Catholics in that country.
Oh my God, even the beginning
but it's accelerated. So, for example, during the more than a decade, the U.S.
Do you guys, can you hear it? I don't understand. Does he hate America? Is like, what is this? What is this the beginning like that? It's like the Christians suffer first. Is what are you saying? It's maybe that not the Christians suffer first, is that maybe it's the first time that you actually bother checking on the Christians is when America intervenes, and then you discover that their life condition is awful and that they're being a minority that is being suppressed and suffering more than anyone, but it has nothing to do with America. It's just the first time you haven't paid attention to this general area in your life. This is when you notice, oh my God, why are Christians suffering the most? Because they always do. They always do that. It's the first, just you won't even look at them unless America is involved.
U.S. government spent occupying Iraq, the ancient Christian community of Iraq was completely devastated. 9 out of 10 of them are no longer there. They're gone. That was
all right, let's talk about the Christian community in Iraq, because they almost got massacred. And the one who stopped them, I know there was even an event that they planned to massacre the Assyrians, and then the Brits had to stop them. I think it was in the 40s. So actually, by the way, like the Brits were in Egypt for a long time, like way before the British mandate of Palestine, or like before they got to Israel, they were in Egypt. And right from the get-go, when they got to Egypt, they started like protecting the Coptic Christian community, like right away. And they were suffering. The Brits did a lot to protect those communities. And now at work time, everybody's suffering, but the Christians just, it's like the scapegoat. Of course, they suffer more. Just like now that the UK is being invaded by Muslims, and Europe has this non-democratic policies and everything, and Hamza Youssef is passing a hate speech law so that people would not be able to criticize him. The first to suffer are the Jews, so it's the same. It's like if somewhere, when Jews are gone, then the next canaries, like in the coal mine, they are the Christians.
An effect of our foreign policy, but it was almost never noted in the United States. And almost never, ever even mentioned by Christian clergy in this country, many of whom supported that war and that occupation. Why is that? Maybe because it wasn't. Virtually no one in any American church said anything when Christians were killed in Syria, very often by Islamic extremists, paid for by the United States. But nobody said anything. And anyone who did was denounced as a kook or a bigot somehow. The Middle East, where, of course, there's very intense fighting going on. Many Christian churches in the United States, particularly evangelical churches, support that. But there is virtually never a word about the Christians who live there, the ancient Christian community in Gaza, the West Bank, and Israel proper. So because no one has said a word, there has been great suffering among the Christian population in that region. In October, a Greek Orthodox church in the Gaza Strip was...
You little piece of... the Christians in Gaza have been persecuted the whole time the Hamas was in charge, and before that too. And they went to, like, they are just a little small number now. And I think that the last year they banned Christmas before the Israeli invasion. I don't talk about this Christmas, I talk about Christmas and before that. They just made it illegal, and before that they were just allowed to celebrate in the most, like, propaganda-ish way, but not really. Like, and by the way, if you want to talk about ancient buildings, like Gaza had a synagogue that is way older than any mosque or a church that was in Gaza. And the first thing that the Gazans did when Israel left in 2005, or maybe even before, they demolished it. They demolished it. That was like more than 1,500 years old synagogue, I think, like something crazy, and they demolished it right away.
So in my church, I have family members with relatives in Gaza, and they cannot even visit. Before the war, they could not visit and be with them. This fragmentation is, as I said, one element of the situation. One of the biggest problems we're facing right now is the deterioration in our number. People keep leaving because of the political reality. Life under a very harsh Israeli military occupation is difficult to bear. And as a result, many young Palestinian Christians continue to leave, for example, Bethlehem, choosing to find a better and easier life.
So get your Muslim friends under control and then tell them that raping women for fun is not a good sport. That's an awful sport to have. Maybe running would be better, just like in circles, not like... And hunting children, is also like a not cool sport to have. Like, change your hobbies. Those are your friends, right? Like, tell your Muslim friends to change their hobbies to something that's bearable.